A very warm welcome to the SWAM course on Design Thinking and Innovation. In this course, we will inform you, we will challenge you, you learn about creativity and innovation and come out with appropriate solutions to solve problems, maybe in your workplace, in your neighborhood, or even at home. We are very keen that you enjoy this course. So, we will start. It is week 1, section A1. We will start with a quote, a profound quote by Gautam Buddha. With our thoughts, we make the world. Thoughts lead to thinking. It is through thinking that we have our notion of the past, the present and the future. Let us look at the course structure. It is a very simple course structure. We do 4 things in a week. The first is the design process and the tools. And the third is the design thinking and innovation project, which you select and do. And the last is the design thinking and innovation case studies. Design process will talk about methods, the models and the theory. The tools will let you know how to solve the problem through analysis, through mappings and visualization. Project is a hands-on project, it is a live project, you do it and learn. You can end up with an enterprise or a business, and the case studies are based on best practices. Many of the case studies are presented by professionals. So, in a nutshell, the design thinking course has 4 components: the design process, the design tools, the design projects and the design case studies. So, every week we will have this. So, now look at the structure for the 16 weeks. We start with the design thinking and innovation process, which carries about 20% grade. Week 1 is really an introduction. By week 2, you need to identify the problem you need to solve, which becomes your project. Week 3 and 4 are secondary research, where you look at knowledge which is already existing on your problem space. Week 5 and 6, you actually go to the users, to the location and conduct, get information which is first hand information, followed by analysis, then ideation and creative techniques, basically explorations. And the week 11th and 12th is soft and hard prototyping. Week 13 and 14 is testing it and getting feedback, and based on this iteratively change your design. And the last week is for creating the business model and making the presentation. So, you have to identify the problem to solve, then you research on it, you analyze and find opportunities for design, then you ideate, then you build whatever you thought of, test it and finally implement it. So, let us go to the tools portion. Here you find methods to actually solve the problem, from brainstorming to mind mapping and linking it together through affinities, studying users, mapping all their artifacts, asking a lot of questions, even SWOT analysis. You can do primary research through contextual inquiry, creating personas or asking the user to narrate the stories, or even use ethnographic tools. Then you do analysis through mappings, different kind of mappings, activity mappings, life cycle mappings. Then you come to the stage where you use creativity techniques, It could be from body storming to synectics to lateral thinking or even idea sketching. Then you go on to prototyping, both soft and hard prototyping, build scenarios, make proof of concept. Then go on to studying and getting feedback, and then finally put it together as a business model and do the final presentation. So, let us look at the project. This is one of the most exciting part of the course, where you select a topic of your choice from given list of alternatives, and this is done for the whole duration of 16 weeks, making use of the different phases of the design projects. Every 8 weeks, you need to submit a project report and a presentation which documents the progress of the project, and grading, as I mentioned, is about 50% based both on your report and the presentation. Let us go to the last section, the case studies, which carries around 10% of the grades. These are examples of good practices of design, thinking and innovation projects. Okay, so it goes through all the phases, okay, of using the design thinking and innovation process to find a final solution, okay, and they are from varied fields and specializations, and many of them, as I mentioned, are presented by professionals. So, let us look at who needs to take this course and why. It is basically for a lot of people. Okay, it could be from your backgrounds in arts or social sciences, law, medicine, engineering, business. You could come from any of these backgrounds and be able to gain insights from this course and apply it. So, it means that both students, faculty members, NGOs, professionals and entrepreneurs can benefit from this course. You could have backgrounds in engineering, technology, science, arts, crafts, design, social sciences, medicine, law, business, etc. Why do you need to do this course? Basically, it will help you to identify and solve problem within your own context very creatively. And it can be from your own context or from, it could be at the national or even at the global level. And if you look at where we are reaching towards a very creative economy and a society where creativity and innovation play a very important role. So, that means that you can play a very positive role in the future and in the coming years. So, basically we are saying that if you want to be part of this creative innovative process, do opt for this course. So, let us look at the design process. That is today's section. So, it is an introductory section. We will talk about the structure of the course, what is the context, why we are doing it, what is design, who is a designer, what is design thinking, who is a design thinker, what is the design thinking process, what is innovation, and what are its aims and vision, and finally, further studies and references. So, it is a lot of questions that we are asking. So, let us start with the context. The NEP 2020 document refers to certain keywords which are very key to the design thinking and innovation process. It is to do with conceptual understanding, critical thinking, creativity and innovation, and finally equity and inclusion. Okay, all these keywords are very, very important to design thinking and innovation. Let us look at the context of our own country and the world. So, we have to move from local to global issues. We start with self, family, society, public, community and the whole humanity. We have to shift our focus from being human centered to life centered. We have done many years with a focus on only humans at the cost of all of the life form on this earth. So it's time to shift that focus. Similarly, technology has ended us with an unsustainable world. We need to again make it sustainable. These are the broad issues, okay, but design thinking itself has to do with observation, research, analysis, exploration, making it, getting feedback, and finally creativity and innovation to enable entrepreneurship will be the goal of this particular course. So, if you look at the context in India, 25% of our population is very young, followed by almost 65% in the working age group. Okay, so that means that we have a very young and energetic population. We also have majority of the people staying in the rural areas. So the focus should not be only urban, we need to also look at the rural sector. And all the people need learning. Okay, so learning is one of the big issues that we need to tackle. We also live in a multilingual society. So respect for your mother tongue, localization are very, very important factors. But interestingly, we have a lot of enterprises, okay, medium, small, micro enterprises are 26 million and many of them are in the rural sector. We also produce a lot of engineers, 1.2 million a year, and at the back of it we have this 30 million gifted craftsmen. Okay, so these are all considerations for the design thinking and innovation space. So let's look at what is design. So if you have to put it in a nutshell, it's basically understanding the needs, being sensitive to issues. You need to be able to identify problems that need to be solved, make very innovative, creative solutions. You also have to look at our own context, our social concerns, aspect of sustainability and make use of technology such that it makes a very positive difference to the life on this earth. So let's look at this. Are these design? So we have the folk arts, which is beautiful patterns. You have furniture which can be stacked up and stored in one corner. This is a kettle. When it boils, it makes a whistle and sings like a bird. We have the sports car. Its aerodynamics shaped to go at good speeds. Even the tabla, a lot of craftsmanship, concern, and for the materials that has gone into making it. Look at the beautiful shape of the lota and the functionality with it. It's easy to hold, it's easy to pour. Look at Amul's campaign, one of our favorite, consumer goods. Yeah, it's always been very fun to have a look at that. Okay, and if you look at the hardness testing machine, it is done with a lot of care. So it looks like it's going to test hardness. Or you look at the Olympic symbols, it's a meeting of continents represented by circles but intertwined with each other, representing different continents again with different colors. Or you look at the Titan logo designed by Sudarshan Dheer. He took inspiration from Jantar Mantar. So it's the Titan T and the Jantar Mantar sundial mapped onto each other as a symbol for Titan. Okay, so we are asking, do you think all these are design? So let's look at what is design. So user, as we know, is important. Sustainability is important. Good looking, that means the form and shape makes a difference. Not just that, it has to work well also, it has to be functional. And design is always about something new, something innovative. It's designed well, you say it, okay. And basically it has to solve existing problems, maybe step by step. Okay, so you can put categories into that. So the user and environment is very, very important. Form and function makes a big difference to design. Creativity and innovation at the root of it. Method and process is the process that you follow to solve the problem. So, who is a designer? He is a creative person. I mentioned this before, you need to enjoy this course. So, you need to enjoy solving problems, be sensitive to the needs of the user, look at issues in society and environment, find if there is a logical analytical way of looking at it, as well as a very intuitive and creativity at finding different solutions. So, you look for opportunities such that it finally makes a difference to the lives of people and other living beings. So, if you become a designer, what are the typical professions? Okay? So, you could be a communication graphic designer, product designer, animation designer, vehicle designer, architecture designer, environmental designer, interface or digital designer, textile or fashion designer, service design and such. It could also be systems design, software design, engineering design, digital design, transportation design, structural design, equipment design, machine design and such. So, this is just to define the different profession options for a designer. So, from design let us go to design thinking. So, it is a method to solve problems using a process. Okay. And we found that it is one of the easy and most effective ways to create something new, and you can apply it to many fields. Okay, it helps you understand users, research information, analyze it, explore alternatives, prototype, build, test and get feedback and find a solution to it. So, basically it converts a problem into a solution, it's an idea into something that is useful. It could be a vehicle, building, graphic, equipment, service or even a lesson or a system. So, let us see who is a design thinker, how do you get into thinking about design. So, he is a person who applies design thinking process to solve problems. This we have already mentioned before, that you can apply it to many fields. It could be a simple problem to a complex problem, and if everybody becomes adept at using this method, then we are actually moving towards a very creative society that finds solutions to many of its problems. So, let us look at the design thinking process. This is the very crucial part of the course. Okay. So, let us look at it. It involves the 6 phases in trying to solve a problem. There are many different ways of looking at design thinking, okay, models of design thinking. We have adopted something for this particular course. It has phase 1 research, phase 2 is analysis of it, basically you are understanding it, defining it, visualizing it. The third part is ideating it. So, you create, explore, experiment, innovate. Phase 4 you build it. So, you create mock-ups, then prototype, then detail it. Then phase 5 is testing and reflection, getting feedback and iteratively modifying it. And the last phase is implementing it. It means you actually produce it by building a business or an enterprise and it becomes an industry. So, research, analysis, ideate, build, test, implement are the 6 different phases of design thinking process. So, if you have to summarize it, the research helps you identify the needs and locate issues through observation and research. Analysis helps you understand, define the problems and look for opportunities. Ideate helps you come out with several solutions. Build it helps you build prototypes and do detailing. Testing helps you get feedback and evaluation, so you can go iteratively and change what you thought of. And finally, is to implement it. So, if you look at process itself, you have to dig all over the place for research. You don't never know where you actually find the needs, right? When you come to analysis, you kind of come down in numbers, and again you diversify when it comes to ideation. Then probably you look at all the ideas and take forward one of these ideas, test it, iterate it, and finally implement it. So, we thought about design thinking, okay, and let's look at what is innovation part of it. Innovation is something new, basically. So, it's about creating value in life by taking something which is already there, finding a different need for it, and design pursues the creativity of innovation. So, let us contrast it with invention. So, as compared to innovation, invention happens only once in a while. The classic example is the wheel. Wheel was an invention, but the variations of the wheel are all innovation, right? There are so many kinds of wheels suited to different needs, right? That is the innovation one has done with respect to the wheel. So, we will sum it up with the aims and vision for this course. Okay, so, basically it will sharpen your sensory, cognitive and social abilities. It is supposed to nurture your curiosity and exploratory abilities, foster creativity and innovation in you. You will be able to locate, identify problems and solve it. You will use methods to solve the problem, and it is through observation, discovery, analysis, experience, collaboration and reflection. The next section is on further studies and references. The most important reference for you is dsource.in. It has summary of the design thinking and innovation course. It has also many case studies, design courses, tools and also lots of resources. Okay, so, you might have to do /DTI, dsource.in/DTI. As I mentioned, there are case studies, courses, tools and resources. A very important book is the Design Thinking Process and Methods, which has also many mapping techniques. This is by Professor Curdale. A very classic book, easy to read, full of information is The Design of Everyday Things by Don Nauman. We will end this section by a quote by a very talented person, Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, painter, scientist, poet, architect, philosopher and designer. He believed in the power of observation. In fact, nature for him was the inspiration. He used to say that nature is his best teacher, and out of this he has these words, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. This quote has a lot of significance and meaning to the course that we are doing, because it is out of complexity that we come down to simplicity. So, thank you very much for listening to this course. So, this was section A1, week 1. So, to sum it up, we covered the design thinking and innovation process, its introduction and the phases of it. We go on to move on to the next section, which is the tools, which is a very important subject, brainstorming, and then the project and then the case study.